Good afternoon and welcome to EFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts St. Vincent Limited.
Just for you at Quartz Optical. Get 15% off. When you bring in your prescription from any other eye care provider, we'll give you 15% off the cost of your frames and lenses. So visit us today and get 15% off. Offer valid on cash and credit purchases. Conditions apply. See in-store for details. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Welcome back to EFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts St. Vincent Limited. First, on the local scene. Head of Cooperation for the Eastern Caribbean Canadian High Commission, Abebe Kasefa, yesterday made a courtesy call to the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Rural Transformation, Israel Bruce, at the ministry's headquarters. Discussions were held on addressing critical issues affecting the agricultural sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These discussions included market and marketing opportunities for local farmers in Canada, the provision of technical assistance for capacity building, and strategies to combat the giant African snail, which currently poses a threat to the agricultural sector. Also, the discussion zeroed in on opportunities for value addition, expansion of the Farm Workers Exchange Program, consultancy assistance to address predial larceny, and the importance of improving access to agricultural lands through the construction of feeder roads. Representatives of the Cuban community in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, together with members of the SVG Cuba Friendship Society, have reaffirmed their support for the people and government of Cuba. During a meeting, participants highlighted the historic ties of friendship and cooperation that unite both nations, as well as the contribution of Cuban professionals in key sectors such as health and education. In their remarks, they condemned the tightening of the economic, commercial, and financial blockade imposed by the United States against Cuba, noting that this policy directly and significantly affects the quality of life of Cubans and hinders their efforts towards sovereign development. Attendees agreed that international solidarity constitutes a fundamental pillar in confronting the aggressive and illegal policy of the Trump administration. They reiterated their commitment to continue promoting initiatives that shed light on Cuba's reality and defend its right to self-determination. The meeting concluded with a call to deepen cultural and social exchanges between both nations, in keeping with the principles of mutual respect, cooperation, and friendship that have characterized bilateral relations. Still on the local scene, the government has announced it is securing a home for vulnerable girls in society. Prime Minister Friday noted that there is currently zero state residential capacity for teenage girls over the age of 11 who are removed from unsafe homes. The Prime Minister further announced that he has directed immediate funding of a dedicated residential facility. We hear more from Prime Minister Friday.
It is a moral deficit that there is currently zero state residential capacity for teenage girls over the age of 11 who are removed from unsafe homes. That gap, that deficit is unacceptable. I have therefore directed the immediate funding of a dedicated residential facility, not as a discretionary item, but as a sacred obligation of the state to protect those most at risk.
That was Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday. Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday addressed the issue during his budget address in Parliament on Monday, February 9, 2026. On to news in the region. Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Browne says he has formally instructed his attorney to initiate defamation proceedings against several political opponents and a media outlet, seeking a $2.5 million settlement. In a statement posted on social media, after meeting with attorney Warren Castle at his office, Browne said the visit was more than a courtesy call. He confirmed he had given formal instructions to act on his and Lady Maria Browne behalves to sue the UPP's Croft Emanuel, Joan and Crusader Progressive Radio for defamation. Prime Minister Browne did not specify the statements at issue, but indicated the legal action would target individuals associated with the opposition United Progressive Party and the radio station. The announcement comes amid heightened political tensions, with public exchanges between government officials and opposition figures increasingly playing out across social media and radio platforms. The U.S. Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, recently made a two-day visit to Venezuela. On Thursday, Wright toured oil-producing facilities with acting President Delcy Rodriguez. Wright was shown a small fraction of the enormous energy potential trapped under Venezuela's soil as the U.S. moves to control sales of the country's oil. During the tour, U.S. and Venezuelan flags stood side by side at the facility the group visited, and Rodriguez had several conversations in English, a language she declined to speak in public for years. The visit comes less than 2 months after U.S. Delta Force operation captured President Nicolas Maduro and his wife before detaining them in the U.S. on drug-related charges. Wright's visit also included a formal reception at the Miraflores Presidential Palace in Caracas on Wednesday. On the international scene, the centre-right Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, has secured a landslide majority in parliament 18 months after mass protests ousted the country's longest-serving Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. The party took more than two-thirds of the seats in the historic general election, with Jamaat, the country's main Islamist party, coming second. BNP leader Tariq Rahman is set to be the next Prime Minister. He faces huge challenges in getting the economy back on its feet and restoring democracy after 15 years. Voters also backed sweeping democratic reforms in a referendum held alongside the election. Finally, in sports, Igor Tudor has agreed a deal to become Tottenham interim head coach until the end of the season. Thomas Frank was sacked earlier this week, with Spurs 5 points above the relegation places. Tudor has been out of work since being sacked by Juventus in October 2025, following an 8-match winless run, leaving the club eighth in Serie A. He could be considered for the job on a permanent basis if he impresses in the role. This has been VFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Shanika Stapleton. Join us again at 3 o'clock for VFM's 3 p.m. news. VFM's Midday News came to you with the kind compliments of Courts St. Vincent Limited.
Hassle-free loans for your every need. Courts have you covered, best believe. Courts Ready Cash is for everyone. Not to worry, fast approval. Hurry up and come. We got it all. We on the go. Courts Ready Cash, you already know. We got it all. We on the go. Courts Ready Cash, always ready when you're ready. Let's go.
Courts Ready Cash. Ready when you are.
99